Thank you, Brian, for that wonderful introduction. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. Thank you. You feel sorry for me, so. All right, let me pull this up. This damn thing, I didn't bring, I bought something that was way too long. That's what I brought, and I can't read it. But this is a short one, if I can find it. I didn't know I was supposed to come up right now, but let's see. Hold on 1 second, guys. Some technical difficulties here. Okay, somewhere. Here it is. Okay. There it is. Where is it? There it is. There it is. Damn it. Okay, sorry. These damn things. Okay, here it is. It runs about. Now it runs about 3 pages, something like that. So I hope it's not too long for you guys. I'm actually a novelist, and we have a tough time keeping it short, And so here it is. Okay, final. Jeez. Okay, thank God, in front of an audience. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now this is for all the poets and songwriters out there who are poets. Actually, songwriters are poets too. Look at the Bob Dylan Nobel Prize Award, all that. Kind of hide in the shadows, But this is sort of an interesting story. I don't know. I hope you guys like it. All right, it's called, I'm not going to tell you what it's called. You kind of have to guess. I don't think he's that ugly. When I come across his morning beard or his yellowing teeth or uncombed hair, he looks like this every morning, at least 5 days a week before he heads off to work. At least I'm helping someone out rather than looking at them critically. Really though, the man didn't look that bad, even though I wondered why he looked into me so much. He cared about his looks. He wasn't old yet. At least not for an entry-level player in a suit and tie job, probably in advertising. Sometimes he would look into me and mumble that his tie wasn't straight or his suit jacket was too tight and might rip at the spine. Sometimes he'd bring a woman home, and while in the bathroom, she would look into me and discover that she looked the best she could. I could tell that she had terrible self-esteem. She was a hard case, actually, because she was very concerned about how she looked. Sometimes she would cry in front of me. That didn't make my job any easier. She'd examine her eyes, wondering if her eyelashes were removed from the corners of them. She wanted to stare deep into her own soul as she looked at herself, staring right back into herself. She'd take up the bathroom for a long time before the man of the apartment came in again. He never wore pajamas. He was mostly bare-chested, examining his muscles and wondering how much harder he needed to work out every week. The bathroom was too small to fit both of them in at the same time, though. I usually have that effect upon my subjects. It's usually one at a time. Rarely could 2 people stare into me, even though that had happened several years ago when this couple in the apartment couldn't stop staring at themselves. I guess I'm present when these subjects release their vanity upon me. If I'm cleaned properly, at least I'm not vain about what I stare at. Some people are as vain as they come, and I can't help but stare at them the entire time. They are only able to present their own image. I cannot hear them. I would love to have a voice that tells them what I really think about their looks. Yet at times during my tenure, the images could be pieced together to form a short tale, and at times these tales are harrowing, to say the least. Take the same woman again, who was at one time so intent on peeling her lashes away from the corners of her eyes. Later on, in what I perceived to be a young relationship, she examined an eye that had been blackened by a blow. Then there was the split lip and the welt on her cheek. It didn't dawn on me right away. It took some time, as though within my prison there came a memory of what people looked like before they came into the bathroom. There was a young boy several years back who cried to himself all alone in front of me. His face showed a cut right above his cheekbone. There was a mother who didn't like how her pregnant body looked and stared into me for hours on end, wondering if she'd still be as big as when the baby came. These artists came to live in the apartment. They looked hideous, but there was nothing I could do to inform them except to stare at them helplessly as they just spend their minutes and times, maybe less, examining themselves. They were an ugly and ridiculous couple, those 2 lovers were. I can tell that the boy had been bullied at school. I can tell that the boyfriend is abusing her girlfriend. I can tell when the tenants ignore me. Sometimes I can't stand to look at them. It's all I can do, that and stare at the wall in front of me when no one's there. There was a middle-aged tenant who had this problem. She would stare into me for so long until her personalities changed. Every few minutes she would brandish a different face, each face representing a different personality. She was confused and I felt sorry for her. She was perfectly honest with me. I respected that. But I knew this woman would never be cured of her illness. She had multiple personalities, which split me up as well. I absorbed each one of her faces and then pulled myself together when new tenants came around. Piecing myself together took a lot of time. She must have seen herself as a terrible fish, but I liked her. I wanted to conquer her problems, but couldn't. She showed me her fangs, her euphoria, her depression, her exuberance, and her misery. That's all I have. Thank you for listening.